Hello dear students, how are you all? So I TAUSIF welcome you once again, and today we are going to solve some very good questions, very important questions, and these questions are so important that you will definitely find them in examinations, like okay. So as I always say that questions do not repeat, but the concept definitely repeats itself. So today we are going to solve some mixed questions, and these questions are going to be very helpful in your examinations. So do concentrate and try to understand the concept that is behind each question, and today's question are so important, as I said, that definitely you are going to get them in your examinations. Okay, so the very first thing, I would like you to share the session as much as possible so that more and more students may join us, because as many as students are there in the class, the better will be the competition, and you will also feel good. Okay, so share the session as much as possible, and we'll start within seconds, right? So uh, please share the session. Today I'll give you 1 minute for each question, and then I'll explain it to you, right? 1 minute. I know in examination you do not have 1 minute to solve a question, but today we are just learning the concept. That's why I'll give you 1 minute for each question, but you have to practice to solve these questions in just 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, but today, as we are learning, today we are not inclined towards the speed. So today we will just learn the things and try to solve a question in 1 minute. Okay. Okay, so let's start. Here we have our first question. Here we have our first question, and your time starts now. So in 1 minute you have to solve this question. Okay, in 1 minute you have to solve this question. A chill wind blew and icy fingers of death crept up my spine, and no error. Which part has error? You have to solve this question in 1 minute. Okay, we will keep reducing the time. Like today we are solving in 1 minute. After 3-4 days we will try to solve these questions in 30 seconds. Okay, but today speed is not the motive. Today the motive is to learn things. Okay, so 1 minute is there. A chill wind blew and icy fingers of death crept up my spine. Okay, time up. So this question is based on phrasal verb. In my last class I told you that when we study vocabulary, phrasal verb is one of the most important things that we study. Why? Because phrasal verbs are not only asked in spotting error questions, but they are frequently asked in sentence improvement, fill in the blank, and cloze test. So there are 4 important sections of our question paper: sentence improvement, errors, fill in the blank, and cloze test, where phrasal verbs have been asked. So you have to learn as many as possible. Okay, so in my vocabulary class I often teach about phrasal verbs, right? So this question is also based on phrasal verb. And what is the error in this sentence? Here, a chill wind blew and icy fingers of death crept up my spine. Now you cannot answer this question until and unless you know the meaning of crept up. and what are other phrasal verbs which have been formed using the word crept. Okay, so now we have to see all the phrasal verbs that have crept as a verb, right? So crept up, crept up means affect something. Crept up means to affect something, okay, and crept in or into, crept in or into means, crept in or into means to begin happening. Okay, when something start happening, when something start happening, like at 1 p.m. our class started happening. Okay, so when something start happening, it is crept in or crept into, it is crept in or crept into. And crept up means to affect something or somebody, affect something or somebody, right? So these are two different phrasal verbs which have different meaning. Crept up means to affect something or somebody, and crept in or crept into means to start, begin, to start something, okay, to start something happening. So in this sentence, a chill wind blew and icy fingers of death crept up my spine. Okay, so here the word crept up is not correct. Here crept in will be used, crept in or crept into will be used. Okay, here crept in or crept into will be used. Okay, right? Let's see the next question. So the first question was based on phrasal verbs, and the questions which are based on phrasal verbs cannot be solved until and unless you have learnt phrasal verbs, right? Because there is no grammatical point in these questions. Okay, these are entirely based on phrasal verbs, and phrasal verbs are something that you will have to learn. There is no other option for phrasal verbs. Okay, now we have question number 2, and your time starts now. Your time starts now. Such rules do not apply to you and I. Such rules do not apply to you and I. What is the error in this sentence? Such rules do not apply to you and I. Such rules do not apply. See, here in this sentence, after preposition, we have to use the objective pronoun. Okay, we have to use the objective pronoun. So after to, you cannot use the word I, we have to use me, because after verb we have to use objective pronoun. Okay, it's the speed. So my last class I took Okay, let's see the next question. The river has overflown its bank. This is a very easy question, and multiple times this question has been asked in SSC and other examinations. So this is a very easy question, but not just question. You have to keep in mind the concept behind this question, because this question is very easy. It has been repeated several times, but it doesn't mean that the concept will not be asked again. Okay. Okay, time up. See, in this sentence, has is followed by third form of verb. Okay, now here the verb is flown, right? See, we are often confused between regular and irregular verbs. So in this sentence, before telling the answer of this sentence, let me tell you something about regular and irregular. As I said, that a particular question is not important, but the concept behind that question is important. Okay, so let me explain you some very important thing. See, verbs can be regular or irregular. Okay, verbs can be regular or irregular. Now what are regular verbs? What are regular verbs? Verbs which form second or third form, which form second or third by adding ed with them, are regular verbs. Okay, so verbs which have ed at the end in second and third form are called regular verbs. For example, want, this is first form, and what is the second form of want? It is wanted. And what is the third form? It is wanted as well. Okay, so the third and second form of want have just ed added with them. Okay, so the verbs which have ed at the end to form second and third form are called regular verbs. And what are irregular verbs? Verbs which are different in all forms are irregular. For example, give is the first form, gave is the second form, and given is the third form. Okay, so give is irregular while want is regular. Now, questions are frequently asked from these two verbs. For example, let me give you an example. Okay, people were slayed during the riots. People were slayed during the riots. Now, when I asked you, the river has overflown. The river has overflown its bank. When you see this question, you find it very easy, because you have seen this question multiple times in different books and in previous year too. When you see this question, you at once say that overflown is wrong. In place of overflown, we have to write overflowed. We have to write overflowed. How can you answer this question so easily? You can answer this question easily because you know that fly and flow are two different words. Fly and flow are two different words. Second form of fly is flew, and third form is flown. This is an irregular verb. But second form of flow is flowed, and third form is flowed. That means flow is a regular verb, and you very well know this. So this question seems very easy. But if I give you this sentence and you are not aware of regular and irregular verbs, you will not be able to solve this question, because flow and fly are very familiar to you, but slay is not that familiar. That's why, despite being the same concept, you can easily solve this question, but you find this question difficult. So as the third form of flow is flowed, the same way slay is an irregular verb, and the second form is flew, and third form is slain. Since slay is not a regular verb, it cannot take ed at the end. So the word slayed is absolutely wrong. After be verb, we need third form of verb, and third form of slay is slain. So in place of slayed, you have to write slain. In place of slayed, you have to write slain. So as I said, questions might be easy, but when you see an easy question, you should concentrate on the concept behind it, because in just one concept, multiple questions can be formed. Some may be easy, some may be difficult. Okay, so regular and irregular verb was the concept behind this question. So learn as many as irregular verbs. You don't need to mug up regular verbs, you just need to mug up irregular verbs, because as you can see, the questions are asked from irregular verbs. Okay, irregular verbs are given in form of regular verbs, and that is a very important question. Okay, now next question. IIM Kolkata's MBA program is regarded as the finest in the country. There is space here. Okay, finest in the country. So here in place of the finest, we have to write one of the finest. Okay, in place of finest, we have to use one of the finest. Okay, now the next question. Question number 5, and here is your timer. You have 1 minute to solve this question. One of the most widely spread bad habit is the use of tobacco. You have 1 minute to solve this question. One of the most widely spread bad habit is the use of tobacco. What is the error in this sentence? See, this is very easy question. Okay. So this is a very easy question, right? There is a simple rule that one of the is always followed by plural noun and singular verb. Okay, one of the is always followed by plural noun and singular verb. So here we have one of the, and after one of the, noun should be plural but the verb should be singular. So one of the widely spread bad habit, so this is the noun which should be plural. So in place of habit we have to write habits. Okay, so after one of the, noun is plural but the verb is singular, so here verb is already singular, which means it is correct. So the error lies in this word habit. After one of the, noun should be plural but the verb should be singular. So here verb is singular, no need to change, but the word habit should be plural, habits. Okay, next question, question number 6, and your time has started. He feels his troubles as much or even more than they. He feels his trouble as much or even more than they. What is the error in this sentence? He feels his troubles as much or even more than they. See, in this sentence, comparison is between the trouble. Okay, how severe the troubles are and how badly do I feel them. So here after they you have to use are, because the comparison is not with he. Okay, here the comparison is between, let me explain you. My troubles are not severe. I feel my troubles, I feel my troubles badly. Okay, so comparison is between how my troubles are not severe and how do I feel them. So comparison is between these two things. That's why here you have to use are. Okay, here you have to use are. Right? He feels his troubles as much or even more than they are. That means he feels his trouble more than they actually are. Right? Next question is, question number 7. I like reading more than to play. I like reading more than to play. Find the error in this sentence. I like reading more than to play. Answer this question. I forgot to start the timer. So you have just 30 seconds to solve this. Okay, so in this sentence, as you can see, this is conjunction, then, and before conjunction we have ing form of verb, and after conjunction we have 2 plus v1. So this is wrong in English. There is a concept called parallelism. You have to parallel the sentence, and parallel in what terms? Before conjunction and after conjunction the verb should be in same form, or the structure should be same. If there is ing form of verb before conjunction, it should always followed by an ing form. So here in place of to play you have to write playing. In place of to play, what do we need to write? Playing. Okay. Now the next question. Question number 8. The old lady swooned but was soon restored at senses. Swooned is the synonym of faint. Okay. Swooned is the synonym of faint. To lose one's senses. Swooned means to lose one's senses. The old lady swooned but was soon restored at senses. Time up. See, the word restored is always followed by to. Okay, the word restored is always followed by to. So here the use of at is wrong, because restored is always followed by prepositions to. So this is a preposition based question which is very helpful. Okay, if you have learnt prepositions, you can easily solve these type of questions, right? Because if you do not know that which word is followed by which preposition, if you do not know that which preposition is followed by which which word is followed by which preposition, you cannot solve such type of questions, right? So restored is always followed by to. So in place of at you have to use to. Okay. Now the next question. I shall have to withdraw from my savings to buy a new car. I shall have to withdraw from my savings to buy a new car. I shall have to withdraw from my savings to buy a new car. Come on, solve this question. I shall have to withdraw from my savings to buy a new car. Answer this. Okay. See, the questions which have no error are the most risky questions, because it is very difficult for us to believe that a question cannot have an error, because the title is find error, so we are inclined towards finding the error more. So we rarely mark no error in a question, but this question has no error. I shall have to, there is no error in this part. Withdraw from my savings, so here possessive is followed by gerund, correct. Okay, to is followed by v1, correct, no problem. Then again to buy a new car, so this sentence has no error. This sentence has no error. Okay, now next question. The whole block of flats including 2 shops were destroyed in fire. The whole block of flats including 2 shops were destroyed in fire. Come on, answer this question. Very easy one. One minute is more than required. Okay, so in this sentence, remember one thing, that if we have two nouns, joined by preposition, then the noun which is before preposition is considered the subject. Okay, if we have two nouns joined by preposition, the first noun is considered the subject, and if the first noun is the subject, the verb should be according to it. Now in this sentence we have preposition, and before preposition we have the whole block, which is a singular noun. So the noun before preposition is considered the subject, and the subject is the whole block, which is singular. The verb should also be singular. So the whole block of flats including, we have nothing to do with this noun. Okay, we have nothing to do with this noun because the first noun is always considered the subject. So if the subject is singular, the verb should also be singular. So here in place of were, we have to use was. Okay, next question number 11. The new device aims at eliminating the risk of short circuiting. Very easy question, please answer this. The new device aims at eliminating the risk of short circuiting. Okay, time up. The new device aims at eliminating the risk of short circuiting. See, here the word circuiting is wrong because we add ing only with verb. Okay, we add ing only with verb. We cannot use a noun with ing. Okay, we cannot use noun with ing. So ing is the suffix that can only be used with a noun. Okay, and since the word circuit is a noun, it cannot have ing as its suffix. Okay, the word circuit is noun and we cannot use ing with it, right? When we have to make a verb a noun, or when we have to use a verb as a noun, we use ing after it to make it a gerund. But if a word itself is a noun, we do not need to add ing. Okay, in the simplest word, you cannot use the suffix ing with a noun, and since circuit is noun, you cannot use it with ing. So here the word circuiting is wrong. In place of circuiting, you just have to write circuit. You have to write circuit. Circuit is absolutely correct. Circuiting is wrong because circuit is a noun and you cannot use ing with it. Okay. Next question. I wish to heartily congratulate you for your astounding success. This is really very important question. So here in this sentence, there is an error related to preposition. Okay, so here in place of for we have to use on. Okay, congratulate on. Congratulate is followed by on. Okay, next question. Okay. Question number 13. The visitors took the vacant seat next from mine, one of the many huge sofas in the room. This is really a very important question. The visitor took the vacant seat next from mine, one of the many huge sofas in the room. Okay, see, next from is a wrong expression. It has no meaning. Okay, next from is absolutely wrong. It has no meaning. The correct expression is next to, which means adjacent. Okay, next to means adjacent. So next from has no meaning. It is a wrong expression. The correct expression is next to. Okay, so here in place of next from we have to write next to. Now the next question. Yes, he was a learned man among lords. Now this is a very important question. He was a learned man among lords and a lord among learned men. See, let me tell you the concept behind this question in detail because this is really a very important question. Okay, see, when we write a third form of verb, after have, has or had, this is a verb. This is a verb. When we write a third form of verb without without have, has or had, when we write third form of verb without have, has or had, this third form is actually past participle. This third form is actually past participle, which is an adjective. For example, I have seen and I am seen. In this sentence, the word seen is a verb. But in this sentence, the word seen is not a verb, it is adjective. It is adjective. So when a third form of verb is used with have, has or had, it is a verb. And when the same verb is used without has, have, had, it is an adjective. So here word seen is adjective, and here the verb seen is verb. Okay. Now there are many verbs which have two different third forms. Okay. Now there are many verbs have two different third forms, one as a verb and other as an adjective. Okay, there are many verbs. So the same is the case with learn. Okay, learn is first form. Its second form can be learnt and learned. Okay, both can be second form. And the third form is learnt and learned. Both of these two words can be the third form. So if you are using as a verb, you can use whether learnt or learned as the third form. But if you have to use the word learned as an adjective, you cannot use the verb learnt. For example, I have learnt the lesson and I have learned the lesson. Here we have used learnt and learned. Both are absolutely correct, because learnt and learned both can be the third form of verb in a perfect sentence. But if I write he is a learned man, he is a learned man. So here the word learned and learned are not used as a verb, rather they are used as an adjective. Because as I told you that if a third form is used without have, has or had, it is adjective, not a verb. So as you can see in these two sentences, have, has, had are not there. Since have, has, had are not there, these two forms are not verbs, these are adjectives, right? So as a verb you can use both learnt and learned, but as an adjective you cannot use learnt. As an adjective the word learned can only be used, right? So as far as the third form is concerned, learnt and learned both are third forms, either of the form can be used. Okay, but when it comes to past participle, that is adjective, you cannot use learnt. The word learned can only be used. As you can see in the sentence, he was a learned man among lords and a learned among lord among learned men. So here you can see before noun we have learned, which is absolutely correct, but in this part learned is long. In place of learned you have to use learned. Okay, now the next question. Question number 15. With our great annoyance, we found the ground filled with broken glasses. With our great annoyance, we found the ground filled with broken glasses. See, in this sentence, with our great annoyance. So here the use of with is wrong. In place of with, we have to use to. To our great annoyance. Okay, these are fixed prepositional phrases which you need to learn. Okay, if you haven't learned prepositional phrases, you won't be able to solve such questions. Okay, now the next question. Paradise Lost is a epic poem. This is a very easy question. In place of a, we have to use an, because this is the word with vowel sound. Okay, epic has a vowel sound, that's why you cannot use a with it, right? Next question is, after toiling very hard. In this question, in place of hardly, we have to use hard. After toiling very hard, because hardly is an adverb of frequency which cannot be used in this meaning. Okay. Question number 18. Excuse me interrupting me. Excuse me interrupting me. So here after me we have to use for. Excuse me for interrupting me. This is a very easy question. You can easily solve such questions. Okay. Now question number 19. At this time of the year, the mountains are usually covered with ice. At this time of the year, the mountains are usually covered with ice. Here in place of at, we have to use during. Okay, in place of at, we have to use during this time of the year. Okay, at this time is the wrong expression. During this time of the year. Okay, and the last question for today. One of my friends are an IS officer. One of my friends. I told you today that one of is always followed by plural noun and singular verb. So here one of is followed by plural noun, which is absolutely correct, and the verb should have been singular, which is plural in this sentence. Are, it is wrong. In place of are, we have to use is. Okay, so these were 20 questions. Practice these questions again and again so that you can improve your speed, right? Tomorrow we'll solve some more important questions with concept. So stay tuned and subscribe this channel, share this class, and right after 20 minutes at 2:20 we'll have a vocabulary session where I will tell you some good words, some synonyms and antonyms which will be very helpful, right? So at 2:20 we'll be back with vocabulary session. Till then, goodbye.